Well, AI clearly in focus, artificial intelligence clearly in focus as a part of the economic survey. In fact, there's one entire essay dedicated to talking about AI and more importantly about the impact that it's likely to have as far as the labor market is concerned, essentially talking about job losses on account of this new emerging technology. And there's one big warning coming in from the economic survey. The survey says that it could prove to be costly if we go by the assumption that these fears of job losses are simply exaggerated. We need to guard against that. We need to guard against complacency, and there is a churn coming. We need to be mindful of that. That's the big message coming in from the economic survey. Let's go through that essay. Well, it begins by saying that the impact of this technology as far as the labor market is concerned will be felt across the world, but particularly more so, the impact will be magnified in India on account of two reasons. Number one, the size, and number two, the low levels in relative terms of per capita income, and that is something we need to guard against. In fact, the survey goes on to say that there is already a churn happening in the labor market in anticipation of this new incoming technology, and that is where it is in this context that the economic survey says that any fears, that if we go by the assumption that these fears of job losses are simple exaggerations, are overestimations, that could prove to be costly for India. We need to guard against complacency is the message that is falling from the economic survey. And there, the economic survey bats for a constant state of vigil. With that, the economic survey then goes on to talk about the role that the private sector needs to play. There is a need for a sense of social responsibility within the private sector, within the industry. That's the one message. Further, the survey then goes on to say that there is a certain measured approach that the private sector is required to take in terms of adoption on this technology to guard against these job losses. And further, and this is the interesting bit here, the economic survey then goes on to say that there is a case to be made. In fact, conversations are being had already in international circles, like in the IMF. There is a case to be made for taxation of profits coming out of AI, replacing jobs to basically generate resources, mobilize resources to compensate for the job losses. And therein, a three-pointed solution being offered by the economic survey. Number one is that we need structural changes in terms of our education. We need to get our children ready to gear up for this challenge coming in. This second change is to be institutionally ready, to make sure that our institutions are geared for this new technology and the changes that it brings with it. And third and finally, with respect to having a regulatory framework so that this innovation can be channeled in one key direction. So a broad message being sent here by the economic survey of guarding against possible job losses on account of this new technology.
For more news and updates, all you need to do is follow CNBC TV18 on all of our digital platforms.